This episode of Finding Demo Surf Fishing is being brought to you by the Kids Can Fish Foundation. That's right. They're still here and they're rocking it. They're doing great things with their camps and just keep on delivering so many great things for these kids. Every dollar that they get goes back into the foundation to help these kids get out with a fishing rod in their hand or a cast net. They learn it, they live it. It's all good. I mean, there's so many great things. So you can take a look at through the website, what they do, why they do it, how they got started, or you can go back into the podcast and you can actually see the episodes. Tom explains the whole thing. You're listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Welcome back. It's 2026. It's going to be a good year. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I hope you're doing great wherever you are. Fishing has been phenomenal since the last time we talked. And the last time I dropped an episode, we talked about some fun stuff with finances and taxes and all sorts of great things. And people were like, whoa, he came back. Yeah, I came back for one, but I'm back now. And you're going to get him back in the ear all the time. Yep, we're back on schedule. So this week we are traveling. Oh, in case you didn't know, I guess I should back up a little further. I am now in Virginia. I am no longer in Florida. Yeah, I am now in the Chesapeake Bay. I'm in Chesapeake. How funny. Fishing here. I've been out a couple times. It's not bad. Different game. But we're taking the digital bus like we always do on this show, and we're running down to Georgia. This week we're talking with Goldriver Fishing. We're talking to Mr. Tyler. And we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. We're going to talk, oh man, salt, fresh, some great organizations, skills. We got it all, man. It's all coming back. So without further ado, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Demo?
It is good, man. It is good. So we met at the Kids Can Fish running of the bulls. You were out there meeting people, shaking hands, kissing babies. And I was listening to you talking, and I was like, wait, you're part of an organization. Well, I'm a YouTuber. I'm like, okay, let's start there. And then it just continued. I was like, okay, cool. I look forward to it. And then I somehow convinced you to come on my show.
It's great to be here, Mr. Demo. It's really, this will be my very first podcast ever. So I'm actually looking forward to it. And I'm just here to have a great time, relax, and share some fishing stories.
Well, that is good because that is what this whole thing is, man. It's just two dudes talking about some fishing, enjoying it, and spreading the knowledge and making things better for people. That's the key. So let's start it off at the beginning, like I do with every episode here. Tell us your story, and we'll got you into fishing.
Oh gosh. So my family, I was originally from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Allegheny, Westmoreland County in Pennsylvania. And the day that I was born, my pap, not even 10 minutes of me being born, he walked into that room and he said, here's his first fishing rod. And from that moment on, like I didn't get to use it until I was like, able to walk. But my first time fishing ever I was at Indian Lake. It was me, it was my mom, my uncle, my pap. And I don't know if everyone's first fish is a bluegill or sunfish, but that's like how it happens. That's how you get started. And now you're in a financial burden with fishing equipment. But that's kind of how it grew up to what it is now of how I engage with, like, okay, I'm going to go do freshwater today. And then maybe 2 days from now, hey, I'm going to go do saltwater. And then just being able to have that variety is wonderful. I kind of took a liking to saltwater fishing. I think I was 15. We went to Ocean City, New Jersey. It was the first time ever being to the beach. I went to Ocean City, New Jersey. And the first fish that I caught, I think was, that was my last year of going there. It was a stingray. I caught my very first stingray. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, I wonder what other cool, like, saltwater fish are there. And then from there, no pun intended, I got hooked into saltwater. And from there, it was just one of those, like, I have to have more of it. It's so peaceful, but at the same time, anything could happen. You don't know what's in the water. One day you could be like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and just catch me like a trout, and then the very next day you have an 8-foot lemon shark on the end of your line. It's just a wonderful experience. You don't know what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, where it's gonna happen, who you're gonna share those memories with, which is really key for me because doing this repetitively, and enjoying myself and then taking other people with me, and then seeing their reaction. Like, I get in the water with that, like, yeah. So I think that's how it kind of started. And then I'm looking to grow from there and just make more memories.
Dude, you just nailed like all the questions in one shot there. Shouldn't have sent you the pregame. No, dude, that's great. Yeah, I mean, the tug is the drug, man. I mean, everything's so many great things about fishing. Well, since you crushed the other one there, what's a bucket list fish catch for you? And we were talking pre-show, and I'm excited to hear the story here.
Okay, so I got stationed at Fort Stewart. It was 2018. I think it was spawning season for largemouth. It happened at Dam 36. It was right behind 2nd Brigade, where one of the buildings where I was staying at. And I think it was like a 4-day weekend. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go hit the pond that's right behind where I'm staying. I'm not thinking much of it. And I was fishing there for a little bit. I was catching some catfish. I think I was with, who was I with? I know I was fishing with somebody. I can't remember his name, not off the top of my head at least. But I noticed that there was a vehicle off in the distance. Like, there's a little slot where MPs usually like to sit that catch people speeding, but it wasn't an MP car. So I'm like, maybe he's just looking for directions. I then hook into this fish. Turns out it was game warden, and he turned on his lights and hauled right over to me. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I know I'm good with everything. I have my ice sportsman license. I have my Georgia State ID, and I have my Georgia fishing license. I know I'm set. I know I'm good. I have nothing to worry about. As soon as I was thinking that, it breached, and it was my double-digit largemouth bass. And I went, huh. And she is currently on my wall. Let me go ahead and pull her off real quick.
Oh boy, this is where things get dangerous right here.
And here she is.
That is not a small fish.
No. So this is the largemouth bass that I pulled out of that pond. And when my sergeant, when he went to do a room inspection, he went to open up my freezer, and he went, Tyler, what is that? I said, oh, that's my fish. I'm getting taxidermy. He's like, why is it in the commissary? Like, you can't do that. I said, don't worry, I'm getting taxidermied. I said, if you want to look at it, go ahead and flip up the wet towel that I covered it with to try and preserve it so I can get it over to the taxidermist. And he unraveled it. He went, where in the world did you catch this? I said, literally right behind where I was staying. Like, guys would get bass boats. They would do all this type of stuff. And then, lo and behold, you catch your double-digit bass right where you sleep. And that's the story on my bucket list fish. I've always wanted to catch a double-digit largemouth, and it just kind of happened that day.
Dude, it's a funny thing about fishing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's
There's flashbang again.
I got flashbang. Cool. Oh, my retinas.
That's the fun thing about fishing. I mean, you can go out and say you're going after certain things, and I love that about saltwater. You can say you're going out for pompano, and next thing you know, you're pulling in a friggin' cobia.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd that come from?
That is a bucket list fish that I want to catch saltwater wise. That and mahi. I want to catch mahi. They have such beautiful, vibrant colors. And it's just one of those fish where it's unique. Like, each mahi is unique on its own. It's not going to be like, let's say, catfish, for example. Catfish, they all kind of look the same. Sometimes they'll have like some scarring and whatnot. But the coloration from mahi can vary between fish to fish. Like, you'll get one that's like a bright, vibrant green, or you'll get one that's blue. You'll get one that's almost all yellow. It's like you don't know which one you're going to get. And it's like so cool on how they can just like I'm like speechless on just the coloration of them. Is like someone just took neon, like, do you know the little chemicals in the glow stick? It's like someone just threw green, yellow, blue all over the fish, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Actually, it does. I like that. Oh, okay. Some mahis and those. You got some places to go. All right. So let's talk about travel then, because you're talking about going to get that. Well, where would be a dream place for you to go fish?
I'd say the Bahamas. The Bahamas, I heard, is really, really good for tropical fish, especially mahi. I heard there was some really big tarpon down there. I'm not sure about cobia. I know cobia is in the area, but I think like the two main fish, I think mangrove snappers down there.
You just need to go to Florida.
I just need to go to Florida.
I mean,
I just need to fish Florida more.
I was like Pensacola, Navarre, Destin. Yeah, that would cover you. 30A. Miami. Yeah, you're going to be covered. You go to Florida, you can get all those. So
Well, it's a good thing Florida's right down the road. Like, I can take a couple days, go down to Florida, fish wherever. I think one of the trips I went down to Florida was I went fishing for bull shark, and that was fun. I went to Sebastian Inlet. That was fun. Learning how. Learning how to kind of gauge Florida, because Florida's kind of weird, if that makes sense with fishing wise. Like here in Georgia, it could rain, it could storm, and do whatever, and the bite would just stop. You go down to Florida, and it would rain, and next thing you know, you're catching buckets of fish, and I'm like, what is happening? It's a complete 180 from Georgia, and it's literally right up the road.
I mean, yeah, you start playing the science game on that. I mean, but the day after it rains, it sucks because the salinity goes and you get a whole bunch of runoff. And yeah, the game gets really interesting. I've had some pretty good conversations about that. But right on that front, fish go nuts on the front end or tail end of a front. They love it. That pressure just gets them fired up. Wow. Thinking about it's making me happy. All right, let's transition into some let's transition to the knowledge piece here. So when you're going to go out and again, bring us all the way through it here, you're going to go out and it's like you said, you're a mixed fisher. You do fresh, you do salt, you do all of it there. So let's keep it. Let's play a little bit into the salt game a little bit more. How do you plan your fishing trip though?
So how I plan my fishing trip is I kind of go by. I kind of play it off of what the fronts are doing and what the stages of the moon are. So I've noticed that, especially like freshwater, right? The moon is definitely a big thing, and it's kind of the same way with saltwater as well. But with the temperature, and like say like a front, for example, when a front moves in, and you have 98% full moon, 100% full moon, and then you have a 98% full moon. I've noticed that your bites increase a lot more for both fresh and saltwater during full moons. And especially if for all my night fishermen, when you throw topwater, for example, at nighttime, you're throwing topwater, you're getting a lot more action. And then it's also just, I don't know what the moon does. It just triggers a feeding frenzy, regardless. I don't know the science behind it, but I've tried it multiple times. I've had some buddies try it, and they're all saying the same thing. Hey, the fish blow up faster and more aggressive during full moons than anything.
Wow. See, and I normally hate full moon fishing, truly, because I've had a bad luck with it. But with what you're saying, it makes kind of sense, especially with topwater. That's an interesting point because you got that nighttime look, and they're going to see it moving, and they're going to hear it, they're going to feel it. Gives them something to target. I like it. What are you targeting when you're kind of fishing that style?
So when I'm targeting, are we talking about salt or are we talking about fresh? Because
give me both. Let's give me both.
So say I'm going after a predatory fish. Not so much like a scavenger, like catfish, for example. Um, I'll use chain pickerel, for example. Chain pickerel, I'll usually use something flashy, something that has bright, vibrant colors, something that triggers their predatory instinct. So when I'm working the water, I'm working my bait. Either I'm doing finesse fishing, or I'm just doing straight retrieves, or I'm doing what I like to call commotion fishing. Anything that makes noise on top of the water, anything that vibrates, anything that shakes. I typically like to throw um, bladed jigs. I like to throw, what are they called? They're not spooks. What are they called? What are they called? Oh boy. Um, buzz baits. I like to throw buzz baits. Anything that make noise to trigger predatory fish, I like to use that. But I also go based off of what the water clarity is. So if it's clear water, I'm going to use more natural colors. I'm going to use my browns. I'm going to use my blacks. I'm going to use my whites. Anything of a natural color, I'm going to throw in clear water. Now, I'll say if it's stained, tea stained water, you have the option to throw a variety of both. I could throw bright, vibrant colors like neon greens, yellows, oranges, or I can go ahead and I could switch up and I could throw natural colors. And then, say if I'm in dirty water, I'm going to be throwing most of the time bright, vibrant colors. Let's say wacky worms, for example. If I'm fishing muddy water, I'm going to throw on a hot pink wacky worm. I'm going to work the bottom with that. Or anything that's very, very shiny, I'm going to throw in dirty water.
That makes sense. Yeah, it definitely does with the color. All right.
For saltwater, for fishing off of the beach, I typically like to find where the waves are crashing, know where the sandbars are at, look for pockets of bait fish that keep getting caught up in kind of like not like rip currents, but they kind of get pulled to one side. You'll see predatory fish sit in those pockets and they'll ambush. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing saltwater fishing. I'm looking for breaks in the wave because I'm going to fish behind it. And then I'm also paying attention to the sandbars. All of those kind of play into a factor. I typically like to fish where the waves will start to formulate before they break. That's where I want to throw. Either I'm fishing with pompano rigs, I'm using drop shots. Now, if I'm shark fishing, none of that's going to matter because I'm going way out.
Yeah, you are.
Uh,
that's just yeah, it looks good. That
yeah.
seems about right.
But during the redfish tournament, a lot of people were trying to get out far. A lot of people were trying to throw it shallow where the breaks in the waves are. But just that tournament was just not friendly to anybody. All the conditions were not favorable because there was one guy who was throwing a 12-ounce Sputnik weight and it was getting washed up on the beach. We couldn't stick anything. It was bad.
Where were you?
We were at St. Simon's Island. I was over at 7th Street, and the guy next to me, he said, look, I can't get anything to stick. I'm going to up my weight. I said, cool. I'm going to bring out my spider weights. If you know what a spider weight is, it kind of fans out more so it'll dig into the sand. I couldn't get my 8-ounce spider weights to hold. That's how bad it was.
I'm shocked because I was on the other side of you. So I was on the other island and I was in the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I was going hard for that. And I was holding with 6s. So
St. Simon's was not a fun time that day.
Were you getting caught in grass? Was it grass that was getting you?
We were getting caught in grass and the current at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. You got doubled. I remember hearing about the grass situation and that. Yeah. The grass was a grass. And June grass was rude. That shut me down for Sunday. That was for sure.
It was bad. It was to the point where I was almost max drag on a Daiwa BG 8000, and the amount of grass that I had on there was probably the weight of a small child, and it was just pulling it. There's nothing I could do really.
Yeah, June grass like that it's the enemy of all surf fishermen. I hate to say it like that, but that was the first year that out of all the years I fished, that's the first year I dealt with June grass, which was a surprise because when I reeled in, I was like, why is there June grass? we're not supposed to have June grass this time of year. No one should have June grass right now. But that being said, I've been in touch with a lot of friends. Obviously, I stayed in touch with everybody in Florida.
Mhm.
They have June grass up until a couple weeks ago, which is not common, not at all. So this year, I think the June grass up and down was it was the enemy for everything. But on the same note, as much as I like to complain about it, it also indicates a very healthy fishery for next year with food laying down and nutrient, revitalizing, I guess is a good word, redoing itself for that. So, but yeah, that was a beating, man.
Yeah, it was not fun.
That hurt the feelings. But hey, we're gonna pause real quick because it's been 20 minutes, and that's right, folks. You know what 20 minutes means. It means you need to check your bait because what are you doing? You can't just let it soak. You're not out there catching sharks. They're the only ones that get the soaky bait. Check your bait. Oh man, it's fun. Tyler, you just get to sit there and stare. I forgot to tell you. Yeah, by the way, you just get to sit there and stare at me as this. Oh, good times. All right. This bait check's being brought to you by Ninja Tackle, ninjatackleva.com. Great website. Matt lives right up the street from me now. Thank God. And you get those nice Ninja daggers. Love mine. You got all the sizes all the way from 7 all the way up to over 13 footers, the newest one. And it is wonderful. And I mean wonderful. That rod is phenomenal. Matt did a great job with it. And if you're into I can't say a certain word because apparently it gets filtered. But if you're into accessories of the variety, he's got optics and a whole bunch of other really great things. Lots of good stuff on the Ninja Tactical side. So go take a look. ninjatackleva.com. Get your order in. Always good stuff, man. Always good stuff. Yeah, you laugh. yeah, yeah. The AI, as much as I love AI is a little too smart sometimes. It gets you. All right. So we talked about a lot on that one. We nailed into the spots. We actually talked about casting and setting into that one. So you really nailed into that with the rigs and the gear. Real done there. And we talked a little bit about bait. Now, when you were talking earlier about set rig fishing, well, that's what I call it, pompano rigs, rocking it out there with the sinker, letting it sit. What kind of bait do you use per species? Are you all right, I'm a match the hatch kind of guy? Are you, all right, I'm a chunk at this? What do you like to use and why?
So typically, I like to use shrimp. Shrimp is always a really good go-to. But I'm kind of weird with how I bait my shrimp. I don't keep the shell on it. I like to expose the meat, so that way, um, the meat's kind of soft. There's no way that I can get all snagged up in my hook. I just peel it so where it's just nothing but the actual shrimp meat itself with no exoskeleton or whatever you want to call them. Whatever it is. I'm not a scientist, I swear. But typically, I like to do that, and I like to pair it with a fish bite. I'll do like maybe a little sliver of clam. Um, I might do like a little sliver of crab. I kind of like to give it two different scents. And I just get picked up by kingfish, also known as whiting.
Mm,
Love whiting. Whiting
love that.
is,
It's an underrated fish. So good.
believe it or not, uh, whiting, in my opinion, is one of the better baits to use here in Georgia. But depending upon the size, I'll take it home and I'll eat it. Um,
I have a hard time with that one because they're so damn good. They really are.
they are really good. I will say fish and grits, whiting is the way to go for fish and grits. And then obviously there's your pompano. Pompano, I just like to use just a tiny bit of shrimp, not like a whole shrimp. I'll use like a tiny bit, and then I'll throw on one of those flotation beads with fish bite, and then that would be my pompano rig. I would throw maybe a 2 ounce Sputnik weight on there. It'll dig into the sand. It holds perfect. That's like what you need for pompano, in my opinion. If you're throwing a 4 ounce Sputnik fishing for pompano, it's either really rough right now or it's really rough right now. I like to use just 2 ounces max for it, and it seems to work all the time.
I would love to know what it's like to fish when it's you can use a 2-ouncer. That would be so nice. That'd be nice.
What was it? It was Sebastian Inlet, not at the actual mouth of the inlet where it feeds out into the main ocean. There's a bend that goes left. I threw on 4-ounce pyramid weight and it was standing still.
Yeah. You get some good days. All depends on that coefficient and that current, man. That can really throw there. So, all right, I like what you did there with the setup. All right, cool. I like that. Very easy to follow and very easy to use. So let's talk gear. What essential gear and tactical or tactical? Thinking about Matt stuff.
Tactical fishing.
Tactical fishing. Oh man, we're gonna make a new sport. What are the essential gear and tactical needed for successful fishing trip, and how can anglers choose the right equipment for their needs?
So let's start off with freshwater. So freshwater, you really don't need a whole lot. It's fairly simple to start off with. You can go buy like a little Zebco 33. You could buy one of those Lewis speed sticks for like 25, 35 bucks just to get you out the door, get you started into this soon to be very unhealthy obsession with fishing. Just don't mind all the equipment. But for freshwater fishing, it's really simple. Your three most common fish that you could target is bass, catfish, and bluegill, also known as brim, shellcracker, sunfish. Those are like your three main like freshwater fish where everybody starts off at. You can throw, let's say, bluegill, bobber stopper, little egg weight or a little split shot, and a size 6, maybe size 8 J hook and some worms, and throw it out there, let it sit. Super simple, really easy to get into, really cost effective, and it's just all around a good time. Because every now and then, even I like to enjoy pan fishing, just like relax. I'm chilling with a buddy. We're drinking some adult drinks and just having ourselves a good time. And I mean, it's one of the most relaxing fish that you can do without having to exert a whole lot of energy. Catfish, on the other hand, catfish, they'll eat just about anything. I could throw a piece of chicken liver out there and just let it marinate, and next thing you know, there's like a 5-pound channel cat, 20-pound flathead, depending upon where you are in Georgia. I think towards more of the Savannah, going towards Atlanta side, they have some blues. I think, what is it called? Oh boy, I think it's Ogeechee River. They have blues in the Ogeechee. It's really simple for just freshwater fishing in general. Now, as far as like my bass fishermen, I love my bass fishermen, but sometimes y'all do too much. You need like maybe 2-3 rods max. You got your top water, you got your suspended, you got your bottom working baits. I had a buddy of mine who was really obsessed with bass fishing. He would load up his bass boat and he would have 20 rods worth of stuff already set, ready to go. I'm like, hey man, I love your dedication, but why you have so much of this stuff? He's like, oh, I'll just cast it, 5-6 times. If I don't get a bite, I'll switch out for another one and see what they want. I'm like, oh.
I understand.
But bass fishing, bait casters are a little bit more advanced. You got to work the drag system a little bit more because you're prone to birds nesting a lot more, especially if you're using monofilament or braid on a bait caster compared to a spinning reel, which is like your open top. You flip the bail, you throw it out, you're good to go. Bait casters, in my opinion, are awesome. They got like a little bit of a sleeker design. I can work the drag with my thumb in the event that it is too big of a fish. I can just clamp down on it and just kind of use my thumb as a brake to kind of help the reel fight the fish, help the rod and reel fight the fish. Now, saltwater, depending upon what type of saltwater fishing you want to do. Like say, hey, I just want to go for whiting, the inshore fish. Excuse me. Oof. Whatever I ate earlier did not agree with me. We're good. But so inshore fishing, redfish, speckled trout, snook, tarpon, um, some types of snapper. Let's see, sheep's head. Super, super easy to get into. You're going to be paying a little bit more than what you would in freshwater, but it's not like, hey, I'm going to go get me a 12-foot surf rod with, let's say, a Stella 3000 by Shimano. I think that's what it is. The Shimano Stella 3000, I think. It's like the reel itself is just an absolute beast. It's like right on par with the Penn Torque 2, which is both reels put out 70 pounds of drag. Open bail, not the conventional, open bail. 70 pounds of drag out of a reel like that is insane. But also that drag system, once you start getting into much larger stuff, you're looking at spending a pretty penny, like anywhere between $800 to almost $1,300. That's like the high end 10,500 series reels that are putting out these massive amounts of drag. Now I know Penn made a spinning reel. It's the Penn Slammer Mark IV 10,500. It puts out 65 pounds of drag, and it's cost effective. It's like $300 to $375 just for the reel itself, compared to the Penn Torque 2 and the Stella. That's starting to get into your big rigs, your heavy tackle. Like, hey, this is the stuff I'm using to catch 6, 7, 8-foot sharks, duking it out with 100 to 200 pound Goliath groupers. These are the man eaters of the fishing community as far as the spinning reels. Then you get into your conventional reels. You got your Penn and you got your internationals by Penn. You got your Tiargas by Shimano. You got your Makaras by Akuma. You got your Avid reels. Those are powerhouse reels that are putting out, depending upon the variant, they can put out anywhere between 65 pounds to 100 plus pounds worth of drag. We had an incident where I had my Tiarga 130 set up on a custom rod, which I'll get into that a little bit later on in the podcast. But all I'm going to say is the event that unfolded with that type of equipment took me and 3 other dudes for a ride down the beach. It was not a fun time. So when getting big equipment means, yes, you have the opportunity to get something massive, but it's not always going to happen. But when it does happen, it is everybody scramble, get the fighting harness, get your belt, cross your D's, dot your I's, and pray that the line, everything holds up. Otherwise, you're going to get a face full of rod blank, and it's not going to be fun.
No, that doesn't sound like a good time.
No.
Well, you definitely nailed a lot of pieces there. Let's talk the last 2 pieces of that. So let's talk seasons. What type of unique challenges and tips do you have for fishing during the season, such as winter and summer? Obviously, those are the ultimate high and low there because you got too hot and too cold, lethargic, and no one wants to be out when it's hot. What do you got for that?
So, depending upon like the seasons with temperature-wise, temperature is a really big factor in it. Because obviously the colder it is, the more sluggish, lethargic the fish becomes. Typically, you see an increase in activity during the spring going into the summer. Summer is going to be its peak, then going into the fall. For saltwater-wise, saltwater, everything will start to migrate during the fall and in the spring. So it kind of flip-flops between spring and fall for migratory fish, like red drum, for example. They migrate. They'll go during the winter, they'll come in from the north, then they'll go south and they'll start to make their way down to the Florida Keys where there's a little bit more warmer water. And then they'll spawn, and then during the spring they'll come back up, and then it's rinse, wash, repeat. And then during the fall, no, I already said fall. Spring, everything will move back up. Because the water will start to get warmer, they'll start to migrate north a little bit more, and then there's also an increase in shark presence as well. So during springtime, going into summer, they'll start to migrate up from the Florida Keys. They'll start to work your way up to the coast of Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, even Virginia. You'll have all this migratory fish, and the next thing you know, you have your entire coastline just completely full of all these different varieties of fish that typically aren't going to be there all year round because of the weather has that impact on certain species of fish. Like hammerheads, for example. Hammerheads typically like to live in more like tropical areas where it's kind of warm. They're not like dusky sharks where they don't mind the cold. You'll see dusky sharks. You'll see sandbars in more cold areas, especially like in the New Jersey area. I was in New Jersey fishing that one time, and we caught a sandbar shark, little sandbar shark, and we threw it back, and it was like so cool because it was my first shark ever. But then actually reading into it, studying, you're seeing a pattern on how different fish move. Now, one of my bucket list fish, the great white, I'm noticing that there's this one shark that I've been kind of tracking and watching its movements and kind of seeing what its habits are. I'm noticing during the spring it'll start to migrate north. It'll start to like be in the Boston area. It'll kind of fan out more towards the North Atlantic portion of it, and then it'll come back down, and then it'll just circle in the Georgia area. Now, I don't know if you know this, and not a whole lot of people know, but the Brunswick area at St. Simons is one of the #1 breeding capitals for great white sharks. And so I'm noticing a pattern. It'll swim this area. It'll stay right out, like right by the St. Simons area. And then it'll start to migrate down south towards Florida and start to work its way down into the Gulf. And it's really cool just monitoring that one fish that you're tracking constantly, just watching its behaviors and seeing if you can connect the dots between other different types of sharks. It's like you're playing chess. And it's like so cool once you figure out what its patterns are. It's like, okay, I know what this fish is going to do. What about all the other sharks or other different species of fish? Are their patterns going to be same? How can I correlate the two with them? Am I noticing something here? What would be the best time for it? I'm also like looking at, okay, the moon chart. Oh, it was here at this area at this time with this particular temperature on this particular moon phase. And then I try and connect the dots to see, is it reoccurring? Is it a fluke? Is it a coincidence? And then it's so cool. Just kind of finally, it's like you're solving a mystery.
People don't realize that they can get, fishing's a rabbit hole. If you really want it to be, fishing can be the greatest research and rabbit hole ever. Spencer, Broken Reel 23, and did an episode with him a while back. And Spencer has a notebook full of knowledge. That man, to the day, and he won't admit to this, and I'll admit it to him for him, just because I've seen him do it, and I've watched him, and I've chatted with him. That man will tell you when the fish will be there. He knows. He's his own farmer's almanac. The dude knows. But again, it goes back to what you were saying. He's been tracking all of these things over a period of time. You can really get into the knowledge. It's kind of cool.
The knowledge is there. It's just how deep do you want to dive into the rabbit hole?
Yes.
And it's super cool once you start. It's like an addiction. And it's a healthy addiction, but some of my friends that I hang out with say you're crazy. I'm like, no, I just am very passionate about what I do.
Well, another question in this category, we skipped it on accident. I misread. Let's talk about going to a new spot. So you get somewhere brand new. Great example. Kids can fish. People come in from out of town. What do you do when you're going to a new place? How do you do it?
So when I go to a new spot, typically what I'm going to look is for swells in the water, canals, runoffs, anything that can be used as a feeding frenzy for small bait fish to get caught in. I'm looking at those areas. I'm looking at areas of possible high traffic. I'm monitoring the current, when it's going to be its lowest. I'm monitoring the tide, looking at the sandbars when the tide finally goes all the way out. I'm looking at the beach. Like, okay, I'm seeing a little crevice here. It's kind of cut out. That can be a highway for fish to travel during high tide. So I'm kind of piecing together puzzles on the fly while I'm there. I'll use this for example, the St. Simon's Island channel. Um, I've always noticed on incoming tide, which will be the high tide, I noticed that the frenzy begins with, say, I'm going to fish the pier. Like this Saturday, I'm going to the pier. Um, I'm looking for that high tide because when I'm throwing out, my bait is going to get pushed out into the open waters, into the channel, and it'll sit there. Now, what I've noticed is there'll be fish that are either swimming in or they'll do something called parking. They'll sit there, they'll wait for fish to come in, like dead fish, fish that may be sick. They're waiting for an opportunity. And so anything that's coming from the ocean is getting pushed into the channel, and then that's where they're sitting. And then next thing you know, you're getting picked up and he's running. I'm also looking for cutoffs. So kind of fresh water going into salt water, like kind of brackish water areas. I'm looking for narrow entryways for fish to use to kind of traffic their movements. I'll use this one for example, down in Darien. That's brackish water. Right now is peak time to go for striped bass, which is one of the fish on my wall. I haven't been going for striped bass in a while, but I know right around this time is when they're going to start using that particular body of water where I've gone fishing for striped bass, currently schooling, breeding, doing all that kind of stuff, and I'm looking for cutouts. That's where they're going to be at. You're looking for vegetation, you're looking for the brush. If you're inshore fishing, now if you're surf fishing, it's a completely different story. But inshore fishing, I'm looking for those small, narrow cutouts. I'm looking for swells. I'm looking for spill ports. I'm looking for anything that can be used to accumulate and trap bait fish. They'll be right there waiting. Me and a buddy of mine, Chase, we went striped bass fishing and we were throwing beetle spins, spoons, and spinner baits. And the first time, this I think this was the first time that he's ever gone striped bass fishing is when I had met him. He was just throwing like a spoon or beetle spin, and the fish hit so hard and so violently, it almost ripped his rod out of his hand because he was not expecting it. They were in that frenzy because there was a bait ball that was kind of pushed up in one of these spillways, and they couldn't escape, so they're just going crazy. I'm looking for stuff like that. Compared to surf fishing, I'm looking for those breaks. I'm looking for the sandbars. I'm looking for areas of high traffic. I'm looking for possible, what are they called? Not rip currents, but I'm looking for when I have a wave coming here, kind of V's out, and then it pushes, and any of the bait fish that kind of get caught in that current, they're kind of just at the mercy of Mother Nature at that point. And most predatory fish take advantage of that, and they'll just pick them off and go. So I'm looking for those particular areas to fish.
Yeah, the runouts are great.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really are. And let's finish up this category here because we got to do a bait check here soon. Well, what are some tops fishing mistakes to avoid, and how can anglers continuously improve their skills and knowledge?
Give me 1 second. Quit holding your open bail reels like this.
Why not? It's fine. It's fine.
This way. Please.
It's the proper way, but it's fine. It's fine.
Every time I see that, a part of me dies. um, what I would recommend, all jokes aside, what I would recommend is listen to the old guys. And what I mean by that is they are a book of knowledge. Depending upon their field, either they fish freshwater all their life, either they fish saltwater all their life. Listen to them, because they've been in the business for a while. Now, I'm not going to say like charter business, but they know what's going on. They know how to properly do stuff. And most of the time, all of the older generation of fishermen that I have talked to, they would rather give you the information to succeed than steer you wrong, because it kind of gives them that sense of, look, I know that I'm not going to be able to pick this up, because even in due time, I'm going to have arthritis and I'm not even going to be able to grip this thing. So being able to give the knowledge to the younger generations for them to succeed would put a smile on their face, knowing that, hey, I'm doing something good for the community, even if I later on down the road won't be able to participate. I still have the knowledge to give you. There was one guy, I'll use this for example. He was my father figure. I've looked up to him all my life. It was my pap. And he had taught me everything of what I needed to know for freshwater. He taught me, okay, this is what to do for topwater fishing. This is how you do finesse fishing. And then this is how, like, he was like an open book of knowledge. And any question that I had asked, he gave me the answer for. So I would really say to the younger generation and people who are watching, listen to the old guys. Because at the end of the day, they're going to give you the knowledge of what you need. Like there's this one guy now who had recently got me on the topic of, hey, use this simple trick and it will work. I'm not going to say what it is, but he said, use this simple trick and it will work. And so me and my buddy, we had tested it and we were just baffled. We looked at each other with like the most, like we had just seen Disney World for the first time kind of look. Like, and we're like 9, 8 years old. We were so shocked. We went back to him in person the very next day and said, it works. And then his smile went from just ear to ear. He was like, I told you. And it was that kind of like cocky, see what happens when you listen. And we ended up catching 12 largemouth. No, what was it? No, it was a pond that was high pressured and we couldn't get anything to bite. We did this one simple trick and we ended up getting 7 blow-ups and 3 largemouth bass caught. And we went the very next day. We told him and said, hey, look, like this works. He's like, see, I told you. So
is that going to be on your YouTube?
Probably.
That's actually a perfect segue. But while we're doing that, it's been 48. It's time, baby. Yep, it's time for another bait check. Yeah, got to bring that line in, make sure everything's still good, because you still got more fishing to do. That's right, folks. It is your next set of bait checks there. And this bait check's being brought to you by DS Custom Tactical. Delaware Surf Fishing, a team up there that does the pump. It ain't easy. That's right. The crew up there has got a lot of good stuff. If you need rigs, if you need hooks, floats, beads, you name it, they got it for you. They got you covered on all of those aspects. Take a look at the website, dscustomtackle.com. Get your order in. Real good shipping. And hey, great product. I use it. I can honestly attest to it. You guys know if I don't use it, I don't talk about it on this show. That's just not how I roll. So dscustomtackle.com. All right. So now that we're talking into that, let's talk about the social media. So you are a YouTuber. You do a lot of good stuff with that. And you've got some really cool sponsorships. And you being a fellow veteran, you've also got some great organizations that you've been working with. So let's start a little bit first. Let's talk about let's talk about your social media and then let's talk about sponsors. Tell us about your channel, how you got started as a digital creator in the fishing industry.
So how I kind of got started, it was more of a joke. I was fishing with my good buddy Chase, and I just kind of threw an idea out there. I'm like, that would be so cool, kind of going out doing some goofy stuff. We originally, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make like a comic relief fishing YouTube channel. That's where I was kind of going, where it was more nonchalant. There would be more jokes, stuff like that. And it kind of turned into hey, look, I can make this into a more broader spectrum. I can do episodes. I can do tournaments. I can do how-to fishing tips and tricks. I can do so much more than just make a couple jokes, make a couple people laugh, And I still kind of want to go through that, but on a more serious level, on kind of being more informative, more proactive, engaging the audience, kind of drawing them in, and kind of like taking them on an adventure in a sense. There has been 2 episodes so far. It is catching monsters. I did a section on it, and I was targeting bowfin. Bowfin is a freshwater fish that I was targeting for a while. I know a lot of good spots. I know how they operate, how they feed, how their behavior is. And I've just caught so many of them. I'm like, you know what? It would be really cool if I could just do a segment on this. I could talk about it. I can kind of give the viewers that, hey, you're tagging along with me. We got a set goal. We're going to try and meet it. And the only way that season will end is if we meet our targeted goal. My targeted goal is catching a 13-pound bowfin. Because that took what the state record is compared to the world record is to the most common weighted fish of what I've caught so far. And then I kind of crunched some numbers. I'm like, okay, 13 is my targeted goal. It is a really decent fish, but it's not so disproportionate that it will probably never happen. So kind of engaging in them with the viewers that way and drawing them in, like, hey, this isn't just me ranting about, oh, look at this, bluefish, just throw it back and call it a day. No, I'm taking you for an adventure. I'm giving you knowledge. I'm telling you, hey, this is pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm going to make it entertaining. I'm taking you along for the ride. And that's kind of how I want to set up my channel. I want it to be informative. I want it to be more engaging with people and kind of just touching base with them. I know that I'm still currently working on the tournament that we were at for the Kids Can Fish Foundation. Still a lot of footage. That is 3 days worth of footage. And I still have to make sure everything's good. It's properly edited. Any sort of not family-friendly audio is cut it out properly. I have so
because
much
YouTube
stuff.
gets mad. They get
Much stuff I have to take into consideration. What music am I going to use? Is it going to be copyrighted? If it does get copyrighted, is it safe for the YouTube platform? Does it give permission to be used in videos? I have to take all this stuff into consideration while still trying to make it as entertaining as possible. In total, I know I'm going to start throwing out numbers and I'm going to start getting geeky with computer stuff. Just the raw footage alone is 37.6 gigabytes. And to put that in perspective, that is, for my gamers out there, that is half of a Call of Duty download. And that is so much memory that takes up in the computer itself. That's just unedited footage. That's not incorporating the cuts. That's not including the deleted scenes. That's not incorporating anything. The music, the audio, the sound effects, the shaders, everything. And it's probably going to be way more than that. I'm probably looking at anywhere between 40 to 50 gigabytes. So it's very, very time consuming. However, do I enjoy it? Absolutely, because I get to reflect back. I get to look back like, hey, I did that. I wonder how other people are going to react to it. Do they want more of this? If they want more of this, I'm going to continue to do it because it's engaging. Um, but the joke of how it started was, me and my buddy, we went to the river, and I said, "Hey, the sunlight's hitting the river just right, and it glistened just right." And I'm like, "Hey, that's a gold river." And then reality said, "I went Goldriver Fishing." He went, "What?" I said, "Goldriver Fishing." He's like, "Are you running a fever?" I said, "Goldriver Fishing." And I'm like, "That's my YouTube channel." He's like, "Oh, for a moment there, I thought you were having a stroke." And I'm like, "No, now's not the time for jokes." And I said, "That's going to be my channel." And then that's what it ended up building up to today.
Nice. Well done, dude. And you've done some good stuff. You got some really cool videos on there. I got to peruse a little bit when we started talking, and I got to take a look there. And along the way, I mean, you nailed a bunch of the questions. Well done. But you, maybe I gotta stop sending people the pre-questions. It gets you too prepared, man.
No.
But
Otherwise, I'd be over here sweating bullets and stuttering every other word. No, don't do that.
So along the way, though, you managed to pick up some pretty cool sponsorships. Let's talk about that. So tell me about those.
So I have 4 sponsors in total that are 100% backing me. And then I got a couple more that I'm working with, and one just recently. It's more of like a partnership, not necessarily a sponsor, not necessarily like a business deal. It's just, hey, at this point in time, I want to work with you, and this is how we're going to do things. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to fix the flash banging issue. For whatever reason, my computer is spawning.
Dude, you're good. Don't even worry about it. I mean, seriously. You talked about that whole gigabytes of footage. I hit download, check, re-verify. Oh, okay, cool. Upload. So you're totally fine, brother. You're good. All right, don't worry about it.
So I'm leaning towards working with veterans and active duty personnel, and because I myself am a veteran, I can relate to their dark sense of humor a lot better than most people. Because when we get to talking and we start making jokes, a lot of people are going to look at us like, "You definitely wear grippy socks." But like our sense of humor is just so comfortable.
Don't judge me.
It's just that level of knowing how these guys talk, knowing how they operate. Being a veteran myself, I can relate to these guys more. So one of the sponsors is Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network. Now, Veterans and Hunting and Fishing Network is a relatively new organization. It was founded in 2019, and they got some really big goals. Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network main goal is to connect veterans to resources. Like I myself am a resource. So I go ahead, I reach out to them. I said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and do, let's say that tournament, for example, the Kids Can Fish tournament." I said, "Hey, I need 2 veterans to come fishing with me. Can we make this happen?" And what they'll end up doing is they did a lottery and they draw 2 people. I said, "Hey, congratulations. You're going to go fish with this guy. You're going to be in a video. You're going to have a good time. Let us know, take photos, take pictures, you know." And it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. I got to know 2 of them. One of them is retired Army, and the other one was retired Air Force, and he also helps with the Hurricane Hunters team. So I got to know their stories. I got to tell them some of my stories, some of the jokes of what they, Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy, whatever pranks. They told me their best moments as pranks wise. I'm not going to say what they are because they're way out there, but just know a porta potty was involved, and we had a new cast member for the Blue Man crew.
Yeah, it's always people don't realize the amount of jokes that come from our world in porta potties.
Oh yeah, like myself, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead. I'll give you a joke of myself. I was pulling staff duty one day. Now, for those of you who don't know what staff duty is like night guard. You're making sure everybody's good, everything's okay. And I went around checking the doors of the barracks rooms just to make sure that they're locked. Well, if I found a door that was unlocked, you were snuggling Kermit the Frog that night. And what do I mean by that is I dropped off a bullfrog in your room in a random location, and I closed the door. And one guy,
It's kind of
said,
gentle. It's kind of gentle.
I was being gentle with it, but one guy in particular said I woke up to to the sounds of somebody screaming, and he couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and he ended up staying up all night. He thought it was his sleep paralysis demon.
Nice, very nice.
But it's those kind of jokes that a whole lot of people be like, "Oh, that's so mean. Like, why would you do that?" No, there's been way worse stuff that's happened.
Why wouldn't I?
I feel like I'm getting horribly sidetracked.
You're good, dude. That's on the next one.
But no, it connects veterans to resources to get them outdoors more. So either that be fishing, camping, hunting, they're all for it. It builds camaraderie, post-military service. So like that fishing trip, I'm building a bond with them. They're building a bond with me. And if they ever want to just reach out, be like, hey, I would really love to go fishing again. Can you make this happen? And then I can make an arrangement, be like, hey, send me these 2 dudes again, and then send me maybe like 4 extra. And then that way I can continue to build that bond with the community and make new friends along the way. They connect pro staff volunteers for veterans. I guess you consider me as pro staff. So I'm helping them get out and enjoy the finer things in life without having to spend an arm and a leg on equipment. I'll already provide everything, and all they got to do is just show up and enjoy themselves, share their stories. That's what it's all about for VHFN. Just knowing these guys, understanding their story, because I'll use this for example. There was a World War II veteran. His last name was Smiley. He was a first sergeant. And I sat down with him, and I got to learn his story. Listening to their stories is just so like surreal, and just they are a walking history book from the military's perspective. And it's like that's never going to be written down in a book unless if you're, say, who is that? Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy's going to be in a book, but a lot of these veterans, their stories aren't going to be out there. So when they tell you their stories, it's forever with you. And that's what I like to work with within the military community, is because their stories are unique in themselves. So they connect veterans to local community where they can access areas that have less pressure of being overhunted or fished. So say Fort Stewart, for example. Say if I wanted to take out veterans to go to Pond 23. Pond 23 hasn't been fished in forever. All right, I'm just throwing random numbers out there, but this is to give you an idea. I would be able to give them that unique experience to enjoy that, and also increases their chances of catching a fish. Because that's my main goal. Like if they're not catching anything, I know it's going to sound like I'm beating myself down, but I feel like I'm failing them, which I don't want them to go home empty-handed. So I want them to have the best time possible while enjoying themselves, and they tell their stories. It also helps veterans identify state wildlife resources available to them. Working toward so Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network is also working towards representing all 50 states. It is divided into 7 regions where they have currently 10 representatives in each state. So what that is like you'll have the Southeastern District, the Northeastern District, you have Central America, you have North Central America. You have a zoning map of all these different communities that are putting their time and effort. This is all like nonprofit organization. So everything of what's happening is being donated out of just, hey, we want these guys to enjoy themselves. Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network, they donate harvested meat to food pantries when possible. So like local food banks. So say in Georgia here, wild hog is a nuisance animal. There's no bag and no tag limit on them. So say if I were to bring, let's just say 7 guys, and we end up bagging 56 boar wild hogs. What are we going to do with 56 wild hogs? We can donate these to Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network, and then in turn they'll process the meat and send it out to food banks. And then Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network volunteers for disaster relief when possible. So say like Hurricane Helene, for example. Hurricane Helene was devastating for the flooding in Tennessee, wasn't it? There was a lot of flooding in Tennessee, the Carolinas. They'll help out with that. And then the president, the founder of Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network is Robert Robertson. He's a really good dude. I also work with Tristan Gomez. He's a really good dude. This whole organization from Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network is what I want to work for. I want to work with them, and I want to help represent them as a community. And it's just something to look forward to. I see a lot of great potential in them. That's why I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, would you be willing to back me with my stuff? And I'll help push out all of the things for Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network as well, because I love how you guys are doing things. And then that's how I ended up getting Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network on board.
Well done, dude. Good job.
Now, here's one I'd never in a million years thought was possible. This was my very first sponsor ever. And it was like throwing a dart. I was throwing a dart in the dark and hoping I hit the board.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up hitting the bullseye. So Seeker Rods, based out of Orange, California, the guys who make rod blanks for, I think it was Wicked Tuna, they ended up sponsoring me. They said, hey, they got back with me. They had emailed me. I said, hey, look, I'm not asking for much. This is what I wanted to do. I just want a couple companies I can represent. I'm not, me starting out, I'm not asking for much. And so I thought I'd throw a dart in the dark at one of the big, much larger corporations. And he said, yeah, let's go for it. And one day, I said, hey, how would you feel? Hold on. That's the topic that we got to hold off for later. This is, I got to hold off on that story.
Dude, we're already at an hour, so I don't know how much you want to hold.
Okay. So what ended up happening is I said, hey, I want to build the world's strongest rod. He went, cool. I got a rod blank just for you. It's what I think it's what is it? NOAA? Who's that shark researching company out of Brunswick? It's NOAA.
I mean, you got NOAA. Yeah, they're the big ones there. And then you got the White Conservancy, but NOAA does some of that. Well, so, I could be wrong. I'm very much so probably wrong.
I believe Seeker Rods is the one that gave them the rods to use to tag great white sharks, specifically built for great white sharks. And they are currently holding the record for the largest shark ever caught. It was 3,427 pounds.
That's not light.
That is not light. That is a ton and a half.
Caught it on 2-pound test.
Yeah. And the company was founded back in 1989. And it's all 100% made in America. These guys do a phenomenal job with all of their rod blanks, guide systems, composite blanks, rod performance, like anything of what you can think of, they have it all. And if you're interested in creating your own blank, they just have the blank itself without all the attachments. So that's how I was able to build the rod of what I was looking forward to, because I said, hey, let's build the world's strongest rod. I have a guy who can make rods. I said, how about we make this happen? He said, yeah, let's do it. And so I ended up getting the rod blank. I ended up getting the guides. I ended up getting a size 6 AFCO uni butt. I ended up getting AB1 130 class rollers. Those are almost $1,000 for an entire set. A Shimano Tiarga 130, 200-pound test braid with 200 or 250-pound top shot. The whole setup itself, rod, reel, line, was $5,000 to $6,000. just for that rod. And one day there was a group of 9 people. We went to Gold's Inlet at St. Simon's. And believe it or not, it was right around this time when great white sharks started to breed. They're out here in the Brunswick area. And the rod got picked up. I said, cool. Threw it into strike. Now, strike is 75 pounds of drag. That's a lot of drag. Not stopping. I went, cool. Kept going for an additional 5-10 minutes. Not stopping. Okay, getting worried. Kept going. I said, all right, I need 3 guys to hold me. I got 2 guys on one side. I have 1 guy in the middle. I'm like, all right, max drag. And I leaned all the way back and just pressed the button in and went, floop. For the first time I have ever seen that rod completely just buckle. And it was going. It wasn't a 130 class. It wasn't an 80 class. It was a wicked 180 composite rod. It isn't a class in its own, and we got it to bend and to plane like this. It was an absolute exhilarating time until it turned into a nightmare, because now I'm getting drugged down the beach with 3 people. And I know the guy who was videotaping it, Brandon Nettles. You still have to send me that video. It's still buffering. And it ended up with 2 stress fractures on the rod blank itself. And I sent that over to Seeker. I said, hey, I broke the rod. They're like, what do you mean you broke the rod? And I sent him the video. I sent him everything of like the aftermath. And he's like, how did you manage that? I said, oh.
It's called a shark, and it's really big.
Yes. And so the leader that I had made for that, it was a size 32 circle hook with 16 ounces worth of weight on there, spider weight, 16-ounce spider weight. And it was 30 foot, the whole thing was 30 foot long. Talking about the bite section of the steel leader going up to 1,000-pound swivels, going up to 1,000-pound monofilament, and there was 25 feet of shock leader. And when we checked the aftermath of it, because rod blank decided to go poof, we were looking at all the abrasion marks, because sharks, they have very sandpaper skin. And so you could tell when something is chipping away at the monofilament. You can see the rub marks, and we had measured it out. It was roughly 20 feet in length.
Oh, that was a great white.
That was a great white. That was the fish that I was chasing. And you could see the teeth marks on the hook. You could see everything with the abrasion marks on the monofilament from the shock leader.
So what ended up happening? The hook pop?
When it finally buckled with the stress fractures,
yeah,
it gave slack, and then nothing. It was gone. Because we were using barbless hooks.
Oh.
Because if you use a barbless hook, it's easier to pull it out and get the shark. It increases the survivability for shark fishing.
Oh,
so you crimp your barbs down, you file them, and it's no longer a barbed hook. Because barbed hooks, they can take forever to try and get out, versus a barbless, you just pop, pull, and send it back on its way.
Yeah, that was good. I'm sorry you missed your great white, man.
Nah, it's good. There's always another time.
Absolutely.
But, another really good sponsor that's backing me is greatanglers.com. So greatanglers.com, I love it because it's an American company. I know the guy personally. I actually met the guy. It is an app that you can use for fishing. And so if you want to pull it up on your phone, they got really, really cool stuff. So they got everything from bait and tackle shops on there to guide services to charter boats. They have tide charts on there. They have partner ads and everything like that. If you want to advertise your stuff on there as well, you can do that. And the best part is it's free. They're based out of, I want to say Delaware. They're based out of Delaware. And it's just one of those coolest features. Like, I can even pull it up right now. I can pull up locations, and it'll give me the entire world of, okay, hey, this fish was caught in this location. what was he using? What time of year was it? Like if you scroll all the way down to Georgia, I don't know if you're on your phone or whatnot, but if you look at Brunswick area, Jekyll, you could see all the fish of what I've caught. You could you could see what I was using, where I was at, what time was it, what was the. I think that even gives you temperature and everything. Like it goes really, really in depth. So it's a helpful tool for fishermen who are starting out. They want to know, hey, how can I do this? Use this app, and you can go ahead and you can find out, hey, let's go. Jim Johnny caught a speckled trout at this area at this time using this bait. Maybe I should try that. And now they're getting interested. It's giving them information. And the best part is at the end of the year, so they'll have like a leaderboards for the biggest fish caught for the year. I'll go ahead. I'll use smallmouth bass. So say Timmy Little Two Shoes caught a 7-pound smallmouth bass, and it's the largest one of the year. Once the new year starts, he has officially won that particular fish for the biggest one of that year. You'll get like t-shirts, you'll get a magazine, you'll get like a little placard paper that says, hey, congratulations, you caught this fish on this year, you were the biggest one for that, species. Cool. It engages with them, and I really, really like it.
Yeah, a lot of comments on all the pictures.
Yeah, it's like a super, super reliable app. That it's like a cheat code. If you use it correctly, it's a cheat code. And that's what I would use for people who are starting out. It's a really, really good tool. I would check out gridanglers.com. I would recommend them 100% of the time over FishBrain. It's super simple to use, and it's free.
Good stunt. I like it.
Yeah. And then we got one more. We got Country Feed and Outdoors. They're actually local to Georgia. They're located in Jessup. Country Feed and Outdoors opened in December of 2017 as a feed and seed store. And then they shortly opened after they started selling live bait and tackle. William is the owner. He enjoys hunting, fishing. He's committed to carrying products that work for the southeastern Georgia area. With the help of our customers and people in the industry, they have been able to do that. They largely carry brands such as Daiwa, Lewis, Strike King, Zebco, Sixth Sense, Stella, Spins, Mustads, and Zooms. So they have all of the essentials to get you started, but they also have that opportunity. They also have the means of getting you additional tackle. So if, say, they don't have something of what you need, say like this rod, for example. I said, hey, I got this tournament coming up with Veterans Hunting and Fishing Network. Can we order X, Y, and Z rods and reels? I know that you guys don't have it. Is it something that you guys can do? And they said, absolutely, we can do that. And their fishing guy, his name is Jesse. He is a phenomenal guy. Absolutely love talking to him. If you name anything fish-wise, he's like an encyclopedia. You say fish, and he's like, I heard fish, and he's coming right over to you. He's super friendly. He's super helpful. I enjoy working with these guys. They always bring a smile to my face. They give you that family-friendly atmosphere, and they're also willing to work with you and give you like the knowledge of what they have. So when I had brought out that idea of, hey, can I work with you guys? Can you work with me? And then I can potentially help you guys while you guys are helping me. And it turned into that bond of, hey, William, Mr. William, how's it going? How's it going, Mr. Tyler? Like it has turned more into, it doesn't feel like it's business related anymore. It's like, it's that welcoming atmosphere. And I would highly recommend them all of the time. They're just super, I don't even know what to say. It's just nothing but good things.
Well, that's awesome in itself. Always good when you can say that it is good and good things all together. So Very cool, man. Good job getting set up with some great people and great company, meeting them all and having that relationship. That sounds like a lot more than the sponsorship. This is that there are relationships built there, and that's the biggest piece. Well, let's transition into a little bit more of your channel here, and we'll get you out of here because I know we've been running. We're at an hour and 20 here, so I
Yeah,
don't want to keep you all night.
I'll talk your ear off with fishing.
Notice I'm not even. I'm good, man. I got a camera and a phone. I got this all day.
We got
So
it all.
we started talking about the YouTube and how you got it started. What has been the goal of the channel, though? Oh no, let me rephrase that. You started with the goal. You talked about it. How you had an idea for it. How you've been building it. So you've really honed that in. So like the next question is what I was going to ask you, which is, has running your channel made you a better angler, and if so, how?
I would say it has brought me closer to a lot of different people. I wouldn't say it made me better as an angler. It gave me more informative, a more informative angler. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm going out there every single day and just catching X, Y, and Z. No, I have all these different people that I get to talk to. They share their stories, they share techniques. And that's if they want to, because fishermen's tales, and they hide their secrets. It's okay, keep your secrets. I'll find out eventually, but um, but learning what they have to say, learning how they do things, how they run things, kind of gives me an opportunity to just listen, not necessarily just get out there and go do. It's just the information that you absorb is a lot better when it comes down to uh, impl- uh, implementing them out in the field. So sometimes, literally, knowledge is power. Knowing how to do certain things is way better than just going out there and just fish. I mean, obviously, fishing is part of it, but going out there with the techniques, the how to's, the tips and tricks, they can greatly increase your chances on catching. So I would say yes and no. I know that's kind of like a gray question,
Not at
but
all.
it's like a double edged sword. Yes, but no.
I like how you answered it personally. You were truthful. So, I mean, you gave it the whole you gave it the reason that it was. So that's a lot better than, the fluff that it could have been. So
Yeah.
we're good with that. When you got into this, I mean, it's always a fun question to ask this one. Do you have a mentor?
I would say I had a mentor.
Okay.
Um, and if my mentor had to be anybody, it had to have been my pap. Um, my pap and my uncle, actually. Those two is what started this avalanche of fishing. Just those two is what kind of broke the ice, and now I'm just going and I'm doing, and I don't think if they had taught me, I don't think I would be here today. Um, those two have been, fishing wise, have been the biggest impact in my life, just because they nurtured me up to who I am today. They taught me all the tips, all the tricks, all the how to's, the do's, the don'ts, how to work finesse rigs, how to use this at this particular. It's just, without them, I don't think I would be here with the knowledge and the ability to just enjoy the water. Um, had they not even messed with me taking me fishing, I'd probably look at you and be like, no, I don't want to go fishing. No, that's ew. That sounds gross. Ew. You gotta touch worms. Ew.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're
think
wrong.
I think my uncle and my pap pap were the two biggest mentors of my life.
That's good stuff. Good job, dude. Well, let's talk about where can people find you, man? Talk about that. How do we people get in touch with you? Or how do they get to that find of this whole thing about Goldriver Fishing?
Well, if you are local to the Georgia area, I'm located within the Fort Stewart area. I haven't left my army home. Um, Typically, I like to fish anywhere on the Georgia coast, either it be from Tybee all the way down to Brunswick. Now, as far as my channel pages, you can find me on YouTube at Goldriver Fishing. Go ahead, look up Goldriver Fishing. You'll see the black banner with the shark jaws with the globe in the middle, and you got a hammerhead shark swimming up here, and you'll have like a little catfish that swims down. It's like a little yin yang.
Very
But
fitting. It really is for that. It is like the pole. It's the top and the bottom. But that was
yep,
just how I was like, yep, that's the apex, and that's I got that.
yep. And it's so cool because it accurately represents me as a fisherman because I fish both salt and freshwater. And the hammerhead, I kind of use that because a lot of shark fishermen love to catch hammerheads. So we use that as the apex predator. I was thinking, great white shark. Ooh, yeah, great white sharks are awesome, but you don't want to continuously target them because they're federally protected. As like the hammerheads in Florida, they're federally protected versus in Georgia, they're not. So that's why I said, hammerheads are like the go-to diehard shark fisherman's dream. I'm gonna put that as on the top because it's the apex predator, and I did the catfish on the bottom because it's bottom feeder. I run 3 different platforms. I already gave my YouTube. You can find me on TikTok at Goldriver Fishing, and then you can also find me on Instagram at gold_river_fishing.
Yeah, Insta likes to make it extra tough for following for some ungodly reason. I never understood that.
Yeah, they're a little special, but I love them. They're like that pug that awkwardly sits in the corner of your room.
Yeah. Just definitely got the weird eyes on you. Yeah. All right, let's get these closing questions, get you out of here for the night, man. So let's talk about the beginners here. For someone just starting out into fishing, what's one piece of advice you give them just to get them started on the right path?
Just to get them started, you don't need the most high dollar equipment. You don't need to go out and buy a $200, $300 rod. Start off with a little Zebco and then just talk to some of the old guys and just get their stories, how they do things, how they can get you started. I would use the older generation as a booklet, and then I would use like your Zebcos, your Lewis, those rods, Quantum, for example, but Quantum switched over to saltwater. I would buy Shakespeare's. Yeah, get you a little Shakespeare, a little
The old
$50, $20 rod. And just go out there and get a feel for it. So that way you're not throwing a whole bunch of money into it. And if you don't like it, you're not spending a whole lot. So you're not really going into a money pit. It's like taste testing but fishing. Does that make any sense? It's like you're getting a taste tester.
That's one way. That's definitely an unexpected way to put that, but yeah, that does work. Okay. You already answered the other one there, so we nailed that one. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or tips you'd like to share with listeners who are interested in this whole world that we love, known as fishing?
I would say just get out there and just go fish. Just go enjoy it, get a feel for it. Because I mean, fishing may not be for everybody. Because I know it's time consuming. There's like some days where you're just sitting there and you're not catching anything, which is fine. But at the same time, you're getting out there. You're not staring at a computer screen. You're not, you're not doing. You're just you're engaging in Mother Nature, right? It's here for a reason. Like that's what I like to think. That's my process. Everything happens for a reason, right? And if it isn't here, there's a reason why it isn't here. And fishing is a reason. So I like to use fishing as a stress reliever. It helps me calm down after like a long week of work. I get to just kind of detox myself, kind of just bring me back down to here instead of like my stress levels going through the roof. I get to enjoy myself, and then maybe there might be reward. Maybe I might catch a fish. That's my reward, and then it'll make me feel good. But at the end of the day, it's just calming. I don't know. I everybody's different, but for me, it's very calming. It's relaxing.
I love it. All right, man. Last question. We'll get you front free. What's next for you? Flashbang.
Flashbang. Ah! All right, last question. Let's see.
It's no scroll. You got to go right off the cuff, man.
Oh, just anything.
Yeah. What's next, man? What's next for you? What's Tyler doing next?
So what I plan on doing next is when my YouTube finally grows, right? It gets to that fan base, that line that it crosses, right? To go on, and I can finally be able to do the things that I want to do, right? There's a lot of people out there that think, oh, cool, I can make all this money, blah blah. Blah. No, that's not what I'm going towards. That's not how I want to direct myself. If anything, I want to go in the opposite direction. I want to be able to give people the opportunity to enjoy the fishing. I want to be able to give back to the community. I want to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to use X, Y, and Z funds from here. I'm going to buy this equipment and I'm going to do raffles. Here, like Jimmy, here you go from South Carolina. Congratulations. I'm sending you a rod and reel so you can go ahead and enjoy your fishing. You know, I'll pay for the shipping, everything, and just do giveaways. I want to be able to do that. I want to get back to the community. I want to spark an interest. That's how I want to run my community. Is they support me, I want to give back tenfold. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the finer things in life. I have a trip that's coming up. Cool. I'm going to do a raffle. Congratulations. You four are coming down to Georgia. We're going to go do this fishing. We're going to go off in a boat. We'll film a video. You know, awesome. Just being able to engage with my community on a level where I can actually finance it and it not come out of their pocket. So that's what I want to work towards. I want to be that guy. Which everybody wants to be that guy, but I want to actually act on it and just kind of build that name of what Goldriver Fishing can be. And I want to be known as hey, he's a giver, not a taker. He's going to treat you. He's going to I want to see all my viewers as like brothers, sisters, family members. I want to treat them as family. If you're following me, you're backing me, you're supporting me. What does family do? They support each other. So that's what I'm kind of perceiving my channel as. And if you are doing all this cool stuff, you're liking my videos, you're sharing it, you're following, you're commenting, and maybe you have like a question. Hey, how does X, Y, and Z do 1, 2, 3? I will be willing to give you the information and build you up as well. That's what Goldriver Fishing is all about. And I know in the near future, when it does happen, I'm looking forward to doing it because I am itching away to do the first giveaway. I wonder who it's going to be.
You're going to do great things, brother.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, telling us your story, letting us know about all the good things you're doing. And we got some great stuff to follow. And everybody, you know, I hope this has been helpful and I hope it helps you. I really do. So I look forward to talking to you soon, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Mr. Demo. You have a good one.
All right, brother. We'll see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Great episode. I really enjoyed talking with Tyler. I really did. All his socials are going to be back on the page for Facebook, or I'm sorry, where you saw this. So it'll be on the Transistor page. It'll be probably on the YouTube links as well. So you can all link back. Go over to his pages, give him a like and a follow. He's going to have a lot of good things. And as you heard, his goal, it's a good one. So be a part of that family. Be a part of that support. Do those good things. You've been listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. It is great to be back with you. I look forward to giving you more episodes soon. Until then, hey, stay glorious. Keep doing the good things you're doing. Yeah, because I'm out of here.